You ever wonder why you're seeing ads for sneakers while your friend, who's literally sitting right next to you, is getting ads for cat food? Well, it's not magic, and it is definitely not a coincidence. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible system that decides exactly what you see online.
Oh, you know the feeling. That kind of spooky feeling when you just mention something in a conversation, or maybe you just think about it, and then bam, an ad for that exact thing shows up on your screen. It's pretty unsettling, right? It really feels like you're being watched or maybe even listened to.
And that right there is the #1 question, isn't it? It's the big paranoia of our digital age. Is your phone's microphone secretly on, just feeding all your conversations to advertisers? It is the conspiracy theory that just will not die. Okay, so to understand what's really going on, let's just forget about spies and microphones for a minute. Instead, I want you to think about it with a really simple analogy. Just picture this. Imagine you have a personal shopper who is, well, completely obsessed with you. This shopper follows you everywhere you go online, constantly peeking over your shoulder, jotting down notes on every single article you read, every video you watch, and every item you even think about buying. Their one and only goal? To figure out what you're going to want next.
Now, that personal shopper idea is a pretty good start, but the reality is even crazier. It's way faster and a whole lot more complex. See, it's not one person. It's actually a super high-speed, totally automated auction for your attention that happens, quite literally, in the blink of an eye.
The real name for this whole shebang is programmatic advertising. Yeah, it sounds a little complicated, I know, but don't worry. We're going to break it all down into 4 simple steps that happen every single time you load a web page. So it all happens in 4 lightning-fast stages. First, trackers watch your every move. Second, all that data is used to build a detailed profile about you. Third, a wild auction is held for your eyeballs. And fourth, the winning ad gets delivered right to your screen. Let's dig into each one.
All right, so how in the world do they follow you? Well, they use digital breadcrumbs. When you visit a website, it drops these tiny little files called cookies onto your browser, or it uses invisible little things called pixels. Think of them as tiny note takers, just recording what you click on, how long you stare at a page, and yep, whether you added those new sneakers to your cart. Now, all of that data from all those different sites you visit gets scooped up and, yeah, it's often sold to companies called data brokers. They stitch it all together to create this stunningly detailed digital fingerprint of you. I mean, they don't just know you like sneakers, they know your age, where you live, and probably a pretty good guess of how much you're willing to spend.
And here's where it gets really wild. The auction. The instant you click a link to go to a new page, your digital fingerprint is basically broadcast out to a huge ad marketplace. In a fraction of a second, companies, like Nike and that cat food brand, see your profile and decide if they want to place a bid for the ad space on the screen you're about to see.
And how fast are we talking? This entire process, from you clicking the link to a winning ad being picked, takes about 100 milliseconds. That is just ridiculously fast. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around. But to put it in perspective, just look at this. It takes you around 300 milliseconds just to blink your eye. So, in the time it takes you to do that one little blink, 3 separate, incredibly complex auctions for your attention have already happened. It's just nuts.
And that brings us right to the final step, delivery. In our example, Nike outbids the cat food company because your profile just screams sneakerhead. Their ad wins the auction, and it is instantly loaded onto the web page as it appears on your screen. The whole thing is over and done with before you even realize the page is finished loading.
So, let's circle all the way back to that original spooky question. After everything we've just gone through, does this mean your phone isn't actually listening to your private conversations for ad ideas?
Exactly. And the truth is, in a way, much, much stranger and way more powerful. Think about it. Listening to audio is clunky. It's inefficient, and it's a legal minefield. They have a much, much better way of figuring you out.
They don't need to hear you talk about wanting cat food. Their algorithms are so incredibly sophisticated, they can just predict it. They know you just visited a pet store because of your phone's location data. They know the friend you were just with bought a cat because they have their data too. They combine thousands of these little data points to predict your needs, sometimes before you're even fully aware of them yourself.
So what does all of this actually mean for us? This whole invisible system isn't just about showing you ads for shoes. It's the fundamental engine that powers the modern internet. And it all comes with one major trade-off.
See, on one hand, you get a ton of convenience. The ads you see can be genuinely useful.
showing you products you actually might want to buy. But on the other hand, the price you pay for that convenience is your privacy. A deeply personal profile about your life is constantly being bought and sold by companies you've probably never even heard of.
And this whole thing matters for two really big reasons. First, it creates something called a filter bubble. When algorithms only show you what they think you'll like, you can get trapped in an echo chamber, completely cut off from new or different ideas. And second, this system is the economic engine that makes the internet go round. It's the reason so many websites, apps, and creators can offer you all their amazing content for free.
So that's the big bargain we all make in our digital lives. And as this system gets smarter and smarter, we each have to decide what we value more: an internet that's free and super convenient, or one that's private and a lot more secure. The next time a surprisingly perfect ad pops up on your screen, you'll know the answer isn't that they're listening, it's that they're predicting. And you'll have to ask yourself, is it worth